Hi, I'm Kira. Welcome to class. This feel-good class is designed to relieve tension, pain, or general discomfort in your low back. A lot of the time, low back tension can be correlated to tight hips. So we'll move through a lot of hip opening movements as well as exploring all the directions of movement of your spine. This class is mat-based and inspired by yoga. So you'll need a yoga mat or a comfy, soft rug to practice on. And then you may also want to have a folded blanket or towel for some knee padding, a chair to help you get down onto the floor, and a nice, fat, sturdy book if you don't have a yoga block. So those will be your trusty props for today. And as we move through this flow, I want you to feel free to explore each of these poses so that you really find the version that feels best in your particular body. Spirit of exploration. So we'll begin in child's pose, Balasana. Come onto hands and knees, and we're going to go through some modifications to make this an actually comfortable shape for you. If you have any tension in your knees or pain in the knees, sometimes having knees together is most comfortable, or even wedging a blanket behind your knees to create some space in the joint. Or for more of a hip stretch, you could bring your knees as wide as your mat. Sink your hips back to your heels and let your forehead melt down towards the earth. Inhale. Exhale. Take another deep breath right into your low back. Sigh it out. Again, inhale, send the breath to your back ribs. Sigh it out. Start to crawl your fingers over towards your right, off of your mat, placing your left hand on top of your right. Deep breath into your left side body. And then crawl the hands back through center, off your mat, over to the other side. Right hand on top of left. Inhale. Exhale. Crawl the hands back to center, make your way onto all fours. Coming into tabletop position for cat-cow, you might want to pad up your knees a little bit as you come onto all fours. Stack your shoulders over your wrists and your hips over your knees. And then bring your spine to a neutral position, drawing the navel to the spine, feeling sturdy here, kind of like a human coffee table. And then we'll add in some movement to your spine. As you inhale, sink your belly down, gaze up. This is our cow pose. Exhale, chin to chest, round the spine like an angry cat. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat. Keep this going, breathing in and out through your nose if possible, linking your breath with movement. Inhale to cow pose. Exhale to cat. And as you do this, just observe which one of these shapes feels more comfortable in your body. So our cow pose, that's extension of our spine. Cat pose is flexion of the spine. So starting to pay attention to which movements of the spine give you some relief. Coming back to that neutral spine, we'll rock forward to an up dog and back to child's pose. So you'll just walk your hands forward, and you're just gonna sink your hips back, and then rock forward, dipping your hips down, pulling your chest forward. And we're just gonna keep this rocking motion going. Forward and back, opening up our front body, our hip flexors. Breathing through, and remember, this is for you to explore, so you can move as quickly or as slow as feels good in your particular body. You can bring this practice to you. Really nice. From here, we're going to move into a lizard lunge. Great hip opener. So you'll step your right foot outside of your right hand, and then you may want to bring your hands to a block or even to your chair. And we're just going to begin to rock forward, sinking the hips down, and then rock back, lifting your front foot, flexing the foot as you rock back. Rocking forward and back. This is getting into your psoas, one of your largest hip flexor muscles. And also stretching your hamstrings, your legs. Really nice. The next time you rock forward, we'll add a bit of spinal rotation, otherwise known as a twist. So in your lizard lunge, you're going to bring your right hand to your front leg, sink your left hip down, and just start to spin your chest towards the right. And you can take this as deep as you want. Inhale deeply. Exhale slowly. Gently unwind back to center. Slowly bring your right leg back. And we'll switch sides. Before you do, you may want to just wag your tail a little bit here. See if you can perceive any difference between the hip we just stretched and the hip that has yet to open. Lizard lunge, second side. Bring your left foot outside of the left hand, and that can happen in a couple of steps. Once you set yourself up, you'll rock forward and back. Moving with breath. And remember to lift your front foot as you rock back. That should help you get a little more depth into the leg stretch, opening your hamstrings and the back of your legs. Feel free to explore, really making this your own. The movement can be big, it can be small, it can be faster, slower. Sometimes discomfort in the body can just be relieved by giving ourselves the care and attention of noticing, what kind of movement feels good, what doesn't feel so good, just paying attention to what's going on. The next time you rock forward, let's add a twist, sinking your right hip down, left hand to the front leg, spin your chest open, find a little twist. Try to direct your breath where you feel this the most. And then unwind, slowly bring your leg back. And now we're going to transition onto our backs for bridge pose. Bring your block along for the ride, just set it close to you. And I'm going to suggest that you curl up the edge of your blanket or towel so you have a little pillow for your head to fill in that gap of your cervical spine and your neck. So make your way onto your back however you do. Bend your knees, bring your feet flat to the floor. And we'll begin with some pelvic tilts. So place your hands on your hip bones so you can feel your pelvis move here. Think of tilting your tailbone down, reaching it to your heels, and then curling the tip of your tailbone up. Tilting the tailbone down so you'll feel some space in your low back. You can even put your hand under there. And then think of curling the tailbone up and the low back presses into the ground. So make space in the low back, and then take the space away, pelvic tilts. And this will really help you to unstick your pelvis from the rest of your torso, which should make some space in your low back. Just take 2 more of these, and then we'll move on to bridge pose. So finding a neutral position with the pelvis. Bring your hands to the mat and reach for the outer edges of your mat so you have some support here. Snuggle your shoulders underneath your body. Inhale. Exhale, lift your hips up as high as is comfortable and squeeze your glutes. Feel your glutes and your inner thighs activated here, doing the work to create tension in your hip flexors yourself. And then lower the hips gently back down to the earth. And tick-tock your knees side to side. And we'll take one more round of this. Coming back to the center, you can keep grabbing onto the edge of the mat or just bring your palms down. Take a breath in. On the breath out, lift the hips as high as is comfortable, but snuggle your shoulders under your body. Keep pressing the hips up. Let your chest spill toward your chin. Breathe. And then lower your hips back down. Tick-tock your knees side to side. And then our last pose here is one of my absolute favorites, supported bridge. You'll take your block and you'll lift your hips and place the block on its lowest or medium height under your sacrum, which is the flat bone at the base of your spine. And you'll just let yourself relax here. Notice if there's anywhere you're holding on to tension or gripping, and see if you can just release your weight into the support of the block. Let your fingers curl up naturally. And you can stay here or you can experiment with extending one leg straight, bringing your heel to the earth, feeling that opening through your hip flexor in the front of your body. And then maybe switching, doing that on the other side. And feel free to play around. You know, if something feels good, just let yourself live there for a little bit. And then you'll slowly make your way out of this, lifting your hips and hugging your knees into your chest, Apanasana. And you can just hug your shins or even interlace your hands around you if that's comfortable. Rock side to side. Feel your breath expanding your belly into your thighs. And then slowly roll onto your right side. And make yourself up to sit. Just take a moment to appreciate that shift in your body. I hope you feel relaxed and a little more open in the lower body. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'll see you next time.